And here we go again, and welcome to the Expressway. I'm Charles. Show me the way here with the BT Express, Billy Taylor, and we're here each and every Wednesday to bring you some new and exciting news from around the world of sports. And we're focusing always on those New York Giants and New York Jets, as always, and got a lot to talk about for both teams. But BT, we are back again live on NFLalumnimedia.com. You can check us out each and every Wednesday live on NFLalumnimedia.com. You can also check us out if you miss us live. You can also check us out on YouTube starting each and every Friday at 9 a.m. Thanks to Ben back at the studio, who make us look and sound good. We just got a lot to do. I want to get right off. Giants got a lot of news. It's like there are tabloid city. You got the Wink Martindale situation. You got Saquon Barkley skipping out on voluntary interviews. Don't want to hear anything. He already knows they're thinking about franchising him. But let's just wrap up the Eagles games before we get into all the drama. What did you think about that game last week?
Well, see, the thing that gets to me, Charles, is what the Eagles said after the game. They said something like, "This is the worst team we've ever played." And I was kind of like, you got your behind beat, and then you'll call them the worst team. And think about it, the last, I don't know how many chances since Hurts has been there, but the Giants have lost something like 4 in a row or 5 in a row to them. And I think the Eagles came in complacent, not ready to play, and the Giants took them to them. I got to give Ty Taylor a lot of credit because he's the one who kind of opened up the offense a little bit. I mean, for them to be ahead 24 nothing at the half, I don't know what to do from an Eagles standpoint. The bad thing is that, as you know, at the end of the season, you're either playing good or you're playing worse. Eagles are playing worse. I don't know if they got a chance in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's tough, and that's a whole nother story. And I know we'll be talking about that in the third quarter about what are your prospects for the Eagles coming out, especially given all the turmoil within that coaching staff. They got a lot of issues going on over there, but Giants got a lot of issues in themselves. When you look at winning a game like they won, you got Sterling Shepard now announcing his retirement. He's done. He's been his Giant career has been like you would, I think it's one of those types of Giants careers where you think he's done more than he actually has because he's been hurt for most of his tenure with the Giants. He really hasn't had one full season of health because he's had two ACL surgeries, and I think that's what kind of led him to retire. But he's retiring. You got Daniel Jones drama. You don't know if he's going to be able to come back next year better than ever. I was listening to the radio when I was coming in to do the show, and they were talking about Daniel Jones. If he were to get back to 2022, Daniel Jones, that would even give them a chance to make the playoffs. But can he even come back to that type of Daniel Jones? And that's just another question to be had. But now you got the drama of Wink Martindale. He's mad that they let two of his assistants go that really were his hires, and I can understand why, as being a coach, you want somebody that's familiar with your structure and the way you do things. And they let both of his guys go, the Wilkins brothers. What do you think about that drama going on?
Well, see, all season, Coach Dable and Wink argue on the sidelines. I very rarely see that because people don't argue with the head coach. Usually, head coach has some words, and the other guy just nods their head or not. I saw them going back and forth to the point where I thought they were going to start fighting because Wink is much taller than Dable. So I can totally understand Wink why he's mad. Because if he brought two assistants to him, and the defense did better at the end of the year than they did at the beginning, then Wink has got a right to be mad. And if you do that, you take care of my coaching. And I've seen this before. You fire my coaches, and then you decide to quit because of what he did. And I think it's totally Dable's fault. And I don't know how he can do it. I just don't want to be yelled at on the sideline. I'm sensitive as heck. And you know, as a running back, you got to be a little sensitive. You don't want nobody in your face yelling all the time. Once in a while, I can take it. But you got to know who you're supposed to yell at. And I think he picked the right like Wick's gonna go somewhere and do a good job because he is a really good defensive coordinator.
Well, the asterisk next to his departure to go to Miami for some time off, it seems like, is the fact that he didn't actually resign. He never turned in his papers, so he still actually on on the Giants team because he didn't actually resign. And I don't think listening to what the press is saying today is that they don't want to lose him. They don't want him going to a rival. They don't want him going to the Cowboys. They don't want him going to the Eagles. They don't want him going to the Rams. And unless he wants to not forego a season and just leave the Giants and not coach next year, I don't see him leaving the Giants, even though it would be very difficult for me if I was Brian Coach Dable to actually, look at him and be like, I can work with you as a team when we have this so much tension in between, between us and our relationship. The good thing that I must say is when listening to the players and their interviews, they didn't actually see the turmoil that was going on between the two. They said they didn't notice it, which was good. They kind of hit it like a good couple before they get a divorce and their kids, right? You hide your angst for one another. So that's a good thing. I just don't know how he can come back from just this fiasco that was created at the end of the season.
I don't think he can. I really don't. And the reason I say that is because if you get tension on the sideline, just like in any relationship, somebody's got to be thinking about leaving. And I just think that he knows he did a good job. He knows he will be in demand. Then he's one to get rid of the table. So I'm going to go against you, and I'm going to say Wink is going to be gone pretty soon. Let's do like the Dallas Cowboys did. That Coach Quinn is going to interview to offer him the highest paid defensive coordinatorship in the whole NFL. That could happen. The Giants can afford to keep Wink if they want to, but I don't think they're going to because if the head coach doesn't get along with you, then I just don't think that's going to lead to good football for the Giants. But I'm kind of taken because I thought that like a couple Giant players really exceeded expectations. They had two players on the Giants who made it all 18 games and all played in every single game. The linebacker was one of them. I think McKinney is the other. They have really come together on defense, and I think they made some strides this year. And it was probably, if you think about it, the offense's inability to score when they could, or inability to do what they could do, the reason the Giants were 6-11.
Yeah, and especially Simmons, the guy they got from Arizona, he started coming on towards the end of the year, and you just don't know how much of an impact a new coach coming in will have on his play because I think he was a positive towards the end of the year. I would have to look at more tape to see if he did create that much of an impact as far as just the flashes that I saw, not particularly paying attention to him. But Simmons is a plus that Wink Martindale was able to fit him in his system. And the great thing is, Wink really wanted Simmons. I think the reason why they went after Simmons is because he went up the bat for him and said, we need to get this guy because he can add a dimension that we don't have to this team. Now, before we kind of close this segment, I want to also talk about Saquon's big dilemma. Looks like they're going to franchise tag him again. Do you think because he plays the running back position, do you think that the Giants are playing that game because he is into his sixth year in the NFL? Running back's career is probably 8 to 10. Why pay him an extension, a 3 to 5 year extension, when he may not even have that many more years, especially given his injury history? Where do you think the Giants and Joe Shane are, and how they look at Saquon Barkley, and given that the teams that are having the most success towards the end of the season have a good running back or have a good running game?
You're exactly right on that, Charles, because if you're going to have success, you got to be able to run the ball in the fourth quarter and to protect your leads. I don't know what they're going to do with Saquon. I know that for him not to go to the exit meeting, he's mad. And it's hard for me because he's making in excess of 10, 12 million a year, and for him to walk out on that and get mad at that, I understand. But then again, the brother from Taylor, he's the second or third highest paid player in the league. I think Saquon is equal to that, and he could get something. And especially if you think about the kind of person, Charles, you made it to the Giants front office, by being a good person, by having good values and stuff. And Saquon has all that. That's why I think that they need to take care of him because he's a good example for young kids around the country. Up for Man of the Year. really, I mean, if you think about it, there's nothing negative about him except his injuries, and he's come back strong, Charles. Every time he get an injury, he come back strong, really strong. Can Danny Jones come back strong? I don't know because out of 5 years, he's been injured and out for a long time. 4 out of 5 years. So I was listening to Joe Stone talk about, well, we got to look at the injury situation. If you're doing that, you're not bringing him back. But I don't think they'll look at that. I think they're going to look get rid of Tommy, the backup quarterback, and I think Ty Taylor's a free agent. So I don't know what's going to happen, but do the Giants pick a quarterback in the draft? They have the number 6 pick. They say there's 7 or 8 good quarterbacks could come in and play. I don't know if that's true because a lot of them don't even make it. But I think the Giants the situation. I think that they really learned a lot this season. I look for them to really be better next year.
I think it's going to be important, and we'll definitely get into it in our future episodes. But it's going to be important for free agency in the draft for Joe Shane and the Giants to do well, to continue to hit on the top 3 picks. We haven't hit on top 3 picks in a long time for the Giants, and it looks like they hit on top 3 picks. I know the jury is still out on Evan Neal, but they've been doing well in the draft for the past few seasons, and hopefully Michael Schmidt has done well this
Yeah,
year. I think Deontay Banks has proven that he can hold up out there covering the top wide receivers on the opposing team. I think the jury is still out on Jalen Hyatt. I just want to see him do a little bit more. But I think if you look at the teams around the league, you need to continue to improve your skill position. You need to have guys that can make plays, that can change games in order for you to, when you look at the top 3 teams or top 4 teams in both divisions, you got the Miami Dolphins, um, and the Baltimore Ravens. They have weapons at the skill position. You got wide receiver, um, tight end, and a decent running back at Baltimore. You got the Miami Dolphins, who has what was like the lake show on the football field as far as the numbers they were putting up on the football field. And then you got the Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers and what they're doing. Their skill position players are performing. And I think that's what the Giants will continue to have is good skill position players and solidify the defense. Obviously, the 2 main areas is still defensive line and linebacker for the defense. And when you look at the offense, they need another producer at the wide receiver position.
let me ask you this, Charles. I see Wink, the defensive coordinator of the Giants, going to man-to-man coverage late in games. And the reason I don't know what to think about is because the receiver knows where he's going. Any receiver probably in his mind thinks he can beat any defensive back to go one-on-one with no help. A lot of teams are doing that late in the game and getting burned because you're throwing a 50-50 ball, which means that the receiver has 50% chance and the defense has it. I don't know if that's good late in games for them to be able to play man-to-man coverage and try to get the 50-50 ball. What do you think about that late in games before we go to the break, Charles?
I think it just goes to show you if they have trust in their defensive line and their pass rush, and given the types of mobile quarterbacks there are right now in the league, it's hard to keep them back in the pocket because they can extend plays. And no matter if it's zone or man, it allows them to make a play and to make plays. And so I think they're just trying to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand as quick as possible, hopefully allowing a DB to hold up for a certain amount of time. But obviously, it's team by team situation. Teams have success, some teams don't. You just got to know your personnel and call the play accordingly. I think Wink Martin has done that. He kind of, especially given the last couple of weeks, he put his team in position to win. The defense has performed, kept them in games that they were supposed to lose. It started with the Rams. And so I'm excited. I just hope they can work out their differences and come back. You're listening to the Expressway with the BT Express Daily Teller and Charles Schumer right here on alumnimedia.com. Out each and every Wednesday live on alumnimedia.com. We'll be right back to talk about the Jets. You know. And welcome back to the Expressway. I'm Charles Schumer the way here with the BT Express Billy Pillar, and you're watching us live on alumnimedia.com. Check us out each and every Wednesday on alumnimedia.com live. You can also check the show out if you missed it live on YouTube starting at 9 p.m. Because it's each and every Friday, 9 a.m. on YouTube. We just got finished talking about the G-Men. Now that other team down the road, we're going to talk about the Jets. Seems like it's not even about the Jets. We just talking about Aaron Rodgers. I hear a lot of stories talking about Aaron Rodgers, the head coach. Um, he's the head coach is sitting down, riding along, just a passenger in this ride to a Super Bowl, hopefully, because Aaron Rodgers is telling everybody what to do, dictating who he wants, what he wants to do, how he wants to do it. What do you think about that situation? And do you think that is a healthy dynamic to have someone like Aaron Rodgers on the team?
So the bottom line is, they went with Aaron Rodgers. All that stuff. A lot of this decision making has nothing to do with him but his personal pride. The thing about it is that he's got to come through next year. I mean, he got no choice because if he doesn't, everybody's going to be fired. The general manager, the coach, they're going to fire everybody. Because the thing about it is, I don't know. Say if Rodgers wasn't in the picture, I think they fire everybody right now. So they're just waiting to see what happens during next season. And that's a trip for any team to sit there and waiting for one person. Because football's a team game. And I don't know if you can do this by yourself. I couldn't do it by myself. I don't think Aaron Rodgers can. But then what he can bring is stability. He can get his knowledge. He can put people in the right place. He can get rid of the ball sooner. If he does that, then the Jets are going to be better. Because they didn't, get in the playoffs, they're going to have an easier record next year. I look for the Jets to come back strong. Rodgers got to be careful what he says because he's talking about the host of these national shows, fighting with them. You can't be fighting with them people. You can't do that because they will eat you up. And I think that he's got some stuff to prove after this.
Yeah, and especially when you're telling everybody else to keep my life drama free. But aren't you causing most of the drama when you're naming late night show hosts as part of Epstein's list? And that's what I mean, when you're insinuating certain things when you bring stuff like that up. So you don't want people to attack you, then stop attacking others. And I think that's what he has to do. And I think that's what he's done as it like towards his entire back end of his career. He's tried to be the mouth of the people for some reason. I guess he felt as though that he should be the voice of everybody that's on the right wing. Someone told me uh, uh, Pat, the Pat show on ESPN, I forget his last name, but Pat McAfee show. It's like that's a Newsmax show for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, and some of the stuff he talks about is kind of out there, right? But I just think it got to be about football. I think they got to control the narrative. The other thing is Garrett Wilson. You got another star on your team, and you got to keep happy, right? I know they just said he had a long, lengthy session with the GM and the coaches about what they need to do. He just said they had the worst season in his entire career? Was it due to lack of Aaron Rodgers being there? Was it due to Zach Wilson being at quarterback? Was it due to not having the offensive line giving any quarterback enough time to throw the ball there? But I tell you this, mark my words, that if they don't fix that offensive line this year, even with Aaron Rodgers back there, you're going to have the same situation that you had this year, not having enough time to throw the ball. I don't care how good Aaron Rodgers is. I know he has like a get off time of less than almost 2.00 seconds when the average time is like 2.48. But he won't be able to have success behind that offensive line because that offensive line is terrible. If they don't improve that, which is going to be up to improve, I just don't see how they improve or get better or even make the playoffs.
The thing for me is that I look at that every ways. He might be certain on that. He may be one of the biggest offensive battles. And for him to kind of play the game as if he's a finesse player, that bothers me. Because you're that bag, you're supposed to go out and kick behind. You're supposed to go out there and let him know, get pancake block, all that kind of stuff. He doesn't do that. So they got to get their offensive line together. The thing about it is that you might have to bring in new coaches or something to make your team stronger. That's the only bad part of your team is your offensive line and the quarterback. I think the Jets lost both of them this year. They underachieved like a big dog. I mean, think about them. They won 7 games. People expected them to win the Super Bowl. So they got some problems. If they don't get, they got probably a year to get them together, or at least 3 quarters of the season for next year. The NFL season, Charles, goes too fast. I mean, we just completed 18 weeks in about 2 minutes. I don't think the other sport does this. Basketball, baseball, hockey goes this fast. I can't believe it because we just started, at the end of the season doing our thing. It's already on. So, the NFL happens so quickly, and people are mad too. Which we'll talk about later about them putting the on the different networks that somebody has, go to that network called Peacock. That's how you get a chance to play. If you wanted to play out games on Monday. I don't know if that's good or bad because in the long run, they say NFL may go to the Super Bowl on paper for a few. I don't like that.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna ask you. It's like, do you agree with the Peacock? This is the first time in NFL history that you're gonna have to pay to watch a playoff game. And given how times are tough, people can't afford to pay for the Peacock, right? And so I don't see how this helps the NFL. Ratings just came out. Ratings for NFL games are the highest in since 2015. If you look at all the networks are up. ABC Monday Night Football, ABC is up on viewership. This is what they were trying to do with the flex scheduling and putting teams that were actually in the hunt, that were actually good on primetime TV. What do you make of them? Are they selling their soul for the money to move a football game that everybody wants to watch, that has always been free to watch? Now you have to pay to watch.
I think this is the first time they've ever done a postseason on Monday. And say, look at all the I look at Amazon. Last what I like to do, Charles, is take some of the games, especially if the Jets and Jaguars at the same time. I always take one, look at it later. It's on Amazon. You can't take the news. The thing about that, that's how it messes up my football. That means I have to pay somewhere else to watch football. And I think that they are letting the almighty dollar get to them. And you can understand that because Amazon gave them $1 billion to do it. Stock gave them $1 billion to do it. They're getting so much money from ESPN and ABC. I mean, it's a one of the money making boosters I can think in the history of sports. And I don't know what they can do about it because you have greedy owners or you try to satisfy everybody and give the fans a little bit of happiness. If you get a flex schedule, say the game is on Thursday, Sunday or something like that, the people have been making plans for years. When the schedule comes out, the Giants schedule is going to show the play soon, but when the schedule comes out, you're making plans from a fan standpoint to go to the game. And you get messed up with the game because the game is changed. So NFL that tells you right there all about the money.
Yeah, it's absolutely about the money. How about this? When you look at Zach Wilson's future with the Jets, does he have a future with the Jets? And if he doesn't have a future with the Jets, which I still think they should still give him a shot, but I think he should be a very strong quarterback, and give him time to develop. But I don't know if that's still good for him. But looking at the Jets, they need a veteran backup quarterback. Who is that veteran backup quarterback? Is that veteran backup quarterback in New York already? And it's Rod Taylor?
Great point. That is a great point. I would think Rod Taylor because he's efficient, he's conservative, he knows what to do in situations, doesn't make that many mistakes. I think that they should get rid of Wilson. Wilson's had more opportunities than anybody I've seen in the whole NFL. I have not seen like this team chances before in 3 years. He comes in here and says he's going to get rid of it and come back 3 games later and play, and he comes back and gets a concussion and off. And he hasn't shown me the improvement level he needs to see as a quarterback going into his third year. So I think that they need to release them. I mean, it's hard to do that with the first time after a team is depending on you to lead them somewhere. I'm not sure. my from my standpoint, I think you need to let him go, start all over. Maybe Aaron Rodgers can tutor one of the young players coming out, but Rodgers has shown before he don't want to tutor. So the Jets are in a situation where they got to either build a team around Rodgers or get a backup quarterback that can help them in case he's hurt.
Yeah, and I think that backup quarterback is a veteran. And obviously, you're not going to pick up a quarterback in the draft unless you think there's somebody you can get third or fourth round. For them, they need playmaker receiver to go alongside Garrett Wilson. I think that would help. Just like Miami had Waddle. Uh, yeah. So it just when you look at teams, there's some dynamic. You need to be dynamic. You need to have on the offensive side that scares defense and and it makes it difficult or tough to have done. Well, you're listening to the Expressway with Charles Sherman here with the BT Express. Until we just got finished two quarters right here on alumnimedia.com live. You can always check us out each and every Wednesday morning on NFLalumnimedia.com. We'll be right back to talk about a lot of stuff going on here for a lot of coaches. We're going to talk about coaches departure. We're going to talk about um, MVP race. We're going to talk about the QB change in the league, the coaching hires in the league. Got a lot of stuff to talk about coming back on the other side. We'll be right back in a minute. And welcome back to the Expressway. I'm Charles Boy here with Billy Taylor, and you're watching us live on NFLalumnimedia.com. Check us out each and every Wednesday on NFLalumnimedia.com. If you miss us live, you can always check us out on Friday starting at 9 a.m., where you can see our recorded show each and every Friday starting at 9 a.m. on YouTube. Well, BT, Black Monday struck game. He's still waiting on New England Patriots and seeing if Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft can mend fences and continue that partnership, which is tumultuous at best. But they may have two potential candidates for that New England because Tennessee, as we just learned yesterday, Tennessee just fired Mike Vrabel. You got seven coaching vacancies in the NFL. You have Carolina, Washington, Atlanta, which is a surprise, but not a surprise. Mike Smith, I think it was all depending upon them making the playoffs. San Diego, we both thought the San Diego job should have been open a long time ago, even before this year. Las Vegas, I'm hoping that Antonio Pierce, if you're talking about a team that has a stereotypical coach for that team, when you think of the Raiders, especially if you're an old NFL fan, when you think of the Raiders, there's only one type of coach that comes to mind, and that's like putting Jim Fossil with the Raiders. You don't see a Jim Fossil with the Raiders. That doesn't look right, right? Antonio Pierce is what Raider Nation is all about. It's like John Gruden, Gloria, John Madden, Art Shell. Like Antonio Pierce kind of fits. When you look at a Raiders, that's Antonio Pierce. Tennessee and Mike Vrabel. Do you think? My question to you is before we get to the list of coaches, potential coaching candidates, if you look at this list, obviously, yeah, a team that's not on this list is the New England Patriots. You really got two coaches that have coached at New England that are free, and I think if you look at both of them, Mike Vrabel is probably the job.
I was shocked that he got fired at Tennessee. I thought he did a good job. Lord, having a tough quarterback. I like him. And I think that he could be a good fit in New England. And regardless of what people say about Belichick, and Robert Kraft are having a long meeting, I agree with that. Because he's been there 20 years, six Super Bowl championships, went to Super Bowl 9 times with him. He's got a pedigree of good stuff. So if I was Robert Kraft, I'd think about that. And again, everybody needs a new place to go. You need to change scenery every once in a while. And that's why I think Belichick should go. And write his own ticket. He can go to Tennessee and be a good coach. He can go to the Raiders and be a coach. But I hope he'll be able to do his job. The only thing that scares me, Charles, is that a couple years ago, when they fired John Gruden, coach comes in, gets to the playoffs, and fire him. So I think if you don't fit the playoffs, I think it's over. And it's get ready to stay in the buying teams like the Redskins and stuff. They do it. Get rid of the coach. Bring in their own quarterback. That's the only thing that worries about Adam Pierce. I love watching how he can running back mostly using offensive line when you should. Most offensive lines, like people don't know, left tackles are the highest paid position players in the game. Offensive line, most of them, if they're good, they make an excess of 10 million. People don't say that. But I think that if you don't have that, then you need to go get it. The Raiders got it. I think guys in front, they got the running back. I just think that they need to let Aaron Pierce continue to build on that. But the bigger thing is that you lost and didn't make the playoffs. That's hard to deal with from a
Yeah, but they won. They were competitive in the last two games. They won the
Yep.
last game of the season. They won on a high note. Just get that. For me, when you look at the Raiders and that aura is back. That Raider Nation aura is back, and just Antonio kind of elevates it in a separate category. I think that if they can get a good GM that can put together a solid group over there, I think they can have a good team. But when you look at the coaching candidates on this cycle, you got two coaching candidates. One is not on the list that I have on your screen, but you got the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, Ben Johnson. You got the defensive coordinator for the Lions, Aaron Glenn, who's been a big name and everybody's talking about him. You got Dan Quinn. Is this the year he leaves Dallas to get a head coaching job? Does it change this year? We already talked about Antonio. What do you think about Brian Flores? Is that is the stuff that went on with the Giants and the lawsuit against the NFL and the rest of the coaches and the rest of the teams in the NFL? Do you think it's past the reason teams are already looking at as a legitimate candidate for the head coaching position?
What scares me though, Charles, because he was up for head coach of the Giants when somebody already given the job to Brand Dable, and so he's kind of left out in the dark. I think he's definitely head coaching material. The problem is that the NFL holds grudges. Just like they did with that quarterback of San Francisco. They don't really need to start really bad at hiring. Only reason, Charles, that he got hired this year is because Mike Tomlin last year was because of Mike Tomlin. Pittsburgh wanted to be nobody who offered a job. This year he became the defensive I like him. I really think he's a great coach. I think he's a great motivator. He doesn't mind in the top five the NFL holding a grudge against him. Like he said. And he's right on what he said. Nobody wants to agree with him, but you can't be right against the NFL.
And then you also got what about Raheem Morris and Steve Wilkes? Both had not great tenures at head coaches, but we've seen Nathaniel Hackett comes to mind. We've seen bad coaches get another shot at being bad again. Do you think Raheem Morris and Steve Wilkes deserve another shot? I think Steve Wilkes only had 1 year to actually prove. They only gave him 1 year as a head coach. I don't think that's enough time, especially given they needed to rebuild that team that he was on at Arizona. What do you think about those?
But we're in that where uh, even the Giants fired somebody after 2 years. They never done that kind of stuff. We're in one of those actions that you don't have some kind of show that you're moving toward, then you'll be gone. I love Steve Wilson. I think he did a sensational job. They think it should have got what he got. But we're in a different world now, and if you look at the owner of the Carolina Panthers, fires him, he's a terrible guy. He's doing a great other and that kind of stuff. So the owners are not not process players or other people go by themselves. Privilege to be all that way. You gotta start building programs. If you're really somebody coming to you, that means they have that chance to tell them in the house. So I look for I hope ask you a question. I hope we're
What do you think? I think Carolina would actually be a good job for Brian Flores, given the owner situation, given how the owner is under fire for actually potentially throwing a drink on a fan. I think he would be good for Carolina, given that he would bring some stability. He's a coach that seems like he's fiery enough and command that respect from his players. And he was doing well at Miami before all of this stuff went down. So I kind of like Brian Flores, especially if you look at the list. Would be a good candidate for Carolina to bring some sense of structure back to that team that doesn't have anyone.
well, I that. It's a different area. The only problem now, Charles, is that defensive coordinators don't do as good now as the offensive coordinators. And so they're looking for people who are on the other side of the ball, bring this fun to the game. But we'll see what happens in these 7 new coaching openings. Do they bring in anybody who's not? But that scares me because the game is all the offense. Trying so hard to make the offense. I haven't had a chance in the defense. But you play defense, that's gotta be the best position in football because they pay this team. So win, it's a tough situation. So I hope Brian Flores gets a job. I hope they at least give people a chance who had their chance. There's a lot of young coordinators, young coaches in the NFL. I hope they at least get a shot.
And so, what do you think about the whole scuttlebutt now? Jim Harbaugh won his national championship. Everybody in Michigan had been trying to run that man out of University of Michigan for years. They finally won a national championship in 1990. Does he now go on to the back to the NFL and try his hand there to try to finally win that Super Bowl? Or does he stay at Michigan where now you have a lot of money? That donor base at Michigan can compete with all of those SEC schools. They can get the same type of players as Georgia, Texas, Alabama because they have just as many donors. Steve Ross is an alumna of Michigan, so he himself can purchase however many players he wants to purchase. So what do you think about Jim Harbaugh leaving Michigan? Really take his executive job?
Because number one, I think he will. One of the reasons of how he plays and what they did is that suspended the last game of the regular season. They got called up in the fall. That is true. The coach that means he has a chance for his team to be suspended or whatever. Then he made a statement during the game. Yeah, he was the coach. Won back in 1992, maybe the state title of high school. Don't know exactly. His brother, John, wins the Super Bowl in 2002 or 2003. And he says he's the only one to have a championship. Now he says he can sit at the table with his dad and brother because he is a champion. For him to say that, I think he's got to be gone. And then again, the stability and the strongness in Michigan, he can stay there the rest of his life. But you still have something to prove. You want to show people that I can do everything. He's got some unfinished business in the NFL. Is he going to fulfill it? I like him as a coach. I don't like his personality because sometimes he comes off almost like Belichick like the media. I like him as a coach. Thorough, played the game. He knows the game. I think he deserves anything he gets. I think he'll be in the NFL this coming season.
Yeah, I think he should stay at Michigan because I think the stress is a lot less. In the NFL, you got to win now. You have more control as a college head coach, especially at Michigan. And now that you're able to pay players, you have a donor base that will give you the money to pay for whatever player people will want to come to Michigan. So I think from a stress level perspective, I think Michigan is a less stressful opportunity, whereas in the NFL, it's a total crapshoot. That it's all you're depending upon quarterback, depending upon free agency health. You got a lot of factors that play into it. Whereas in college, it's like, look, I can amass the best of the best by just paying these guys money. And so that's what I think he should do. He probably, if he wants a less stressful position, Michigan is it. If he wants to kind of he has to prove something and be like his brother and win a Super Bowl championship. I'm in the NFL. He'll move to the NFL. My next question is: everybody's been talking about this. Jameis Winston and what the Saints did and faked the kneel and ran the play and defied the coach's play call and kneeling. And Jameis Winston went rogue and ran his own play. Hey, what do you think about James Winston doing his own thing? And does it coach, given, Allen is a new coach, he replaces Sean Payton at New Orleans. Does that call with his credibility in the locker room with a player defying the order?
So for the game to be over, you to think that you're slick on a player that gets a touchdown is disrespectful. It's disrespectful to him. It's disrespectful to the Saints. I think it's time for that. Because, he's not a great quarterback. He was great to the playoffs. So I always thought that he was hard-headed. He throws the ball in double coverage with anybody. He led the league one year with some interceptions. So for him to do that kind of stuff, you got to prove this up another way. And that's why I never liked him. He had like had some problems. He's drafted by Tampa Bay. He doesn't complete the job there. So I'm not a fan at all. I hope I can get over it. But I thought he did was so pushing me. So sounds like somebody with some problems.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's one of those deals where if I'm Coach Allen, that I may have to release him and start afresh because I need to continue to maintain credibility in that locker room. and this may kind of hamper that credibility in that locker room. Well, you're listening to the Express with Charles Shumway and the BT Express Philly Taylor. We got a lot more. I got one more question for BT about the quarterback situation in the NFL. Who should be back, who shouldn't, and then we'll go through our picks. Tell you how we ended up, in this season, who won, who lost. So we'll be right back in a minute. And welcome back to the Expressway. I'm Charles Way here with Billy Taylor, and we are here each and every Wednesday live on alumnimedia.com. Check us out each and every Wednesday. If you miss us on NFLalumnimedia.com on Wednesdays, you can always check out recorded on YouTube starting at 9 a.m. And making us look and sound great as ever. And before we left and start talking about James Winston, there's two other questions I want to give you a on before we close out. Wild, Super Wild Card Weekend is what they're calling it. Super Wild Card Weekend because they added an extra game. Before we get to Super Wild Card Weekend, what do you think about is the Russell Wilson era over completely for the entire NFL, or is he still good enough to be a starting quarterback or a backup quarterback? And then what do you do with Justin Fields in Chicago? Do you want to go over the entire process all over again? Is there a true number one quarterback? Is there a Joe Burrow or a Trevor Lawrence in this year's draft? I don't believe so. But do you think there was a Joe Burrow or Trevor Lawrence in this year's draft that you have to pick this dude number one? You're sure that he's going to be a legitimate star for your team and get rid of Justin Fields?
Again, Williams, C. Williams at USC, a generational quarterback. I didn't see that. And even the quarterbacks from Michigan and Washington is supposed to be good top picks. I didn't see them show me anything. There's too many quarterbacks who don't understand everything. And I think if you play 2 years in college, that doesn't make you a great quarterback. I think you can sit the bench and play 4 years at the university, you'll get every type of experience that you want. So I don't know what's going to happen in that situation at all, but there's not a lot of great quarterbacks. I think as far as Justin, I think that they need to let him go. I watched him all season. He's improved tremendously, but he's up for one of them big contracts. He hasn't proven that he can make the team to the playoffs. I would let him go and start over. But the rookie comes in, he has 5 years before he gets paid the big money. What you need for now is get someone to manage the team. Offensive line seems like they're doing better. The receivers are doing better. And the quarterback can kind of manage the game. I think Justin is just a little bit too much. Come back with the bear.
Is Justin Fields better than Daniel Jones? So the question is, do you get rid of Daniel Jones for Justin Fields?
But you can't trade Daniel Jones next year. I spent $40 million coming off of uh, 4 out of 5 times he's been hurt. I don't see how you make that trade. I think the thing that scares me is I think Ryan comes back from the injury. He didn't even have a second one. He came back from his injury less than a year. And looked pretty good. But I don't know about that. Like I said, I made 8 men retire. Eight Manning's brother, his name is Cooper, retired because of college he took on his neck. So I think this stuff is serious. I wouldn't, you have no choice with Danny Jones because you got a guaranteed contract for 2 years and second year. He's coming here with 40 million. So you got to at least give him a chance. But Tyrod Taylor is showing me that he has a good quarterback here.
I totally agree with you. The jury's still out on Daniel Jones. Hopefully, he can come back healthy. I think there's still some neck issues. Obviously, the neck problem kept him out of the season of 2 games because of that neck issue that's been bothering him for a long time. So I think that there's a whole lot of question marks on Daniel Jones, and that's a position that they're going to have to look at addressing especially as a backup position. Maybe Russell Wilson will probably get a chance to come to New York if he wants to back up Daniel Jones because he will probably be a little back there. But needless to say, that's high in the sky. We'll see what happens. Not 4 months to keep the champion back position. But we got to go to Super Wild Cards weekend. We're going to look at all of the games. We tied up last week. You got 3 wins. I got 3 wins. And we tied last week. Now we're going into the postseason. I got my hard hat on. I'm ready to go with you. Our first game, and we want to go to Cleveland and Houston. I told you about my man D'Amico Ryans at Houston, boy. They came out and they beat Indianapolis. Which is good. Now they're playing Cleveland, a great defense. I mean, that's one of the toughest defenses out there. I think they're jumping. They got to be top 3, top 5, at least top 5, top 3 in the NFL. Joe Flacco is. I think this is a different. He might be an alien because I have never seen Joe Flacco play like this before. Even when they won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco, he didn't play like this. I mean, he's throwing dimes. I guess when you get over 30 years old, you learn how to throw the football. And he was throwing dimes.
Player of the year. I don't know if he's playing enough for that because at the beginning of the year he wasn't starting, but he led a good team. I think it starts with the defense. Got a very good defense that can play with anybody. I think they're top 2 or 3 in the NFL. See, that's a chance. That thing is that if they can kind of keep Houston's offense at an even standpoint, they can win that game. The thing about it is, I like Houston. I like the coach. I like the quarterback. I like the running back. I like the defense. And I'd like to see them advance, but for some reason, I think that Cleveland's going to beat Texas.
Yeah, I got Cleveland too. They just got too much on defense. I think Joe Flacco is still living a dream. It's like the natural in baseball. The natural. He's living one of those storybook Disney storybook stories right now, where he comes back and wins a Super Bowl. So I like Cleveland right now. I'm gonna go with Cleveland in this.
Also,
All right, next game is Miami and Kansas. I'm not watching this game. I'm not buying the Peacock because there's nothing on the Peacock that I want to see. It's on the Peacock. I'm so upset that they put one of the best games that you. Why couldn't you put like a Dallas or Green Bay? That could have been on Peacock. What you gonna put Miami and Kansas City on Peacock? One of the best the top 2 teams in the AFC in the NFL. A running shoe you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Tyreek Hill. I mean, you got a whole bunch of stuff going on. You put them on Peacock. I'm so upset at this game. I think Kansas City, this team, I don't think the trash he has at the skill position at Kansas City. He has nothing but the tight end. All the receivers are terrible in top season. The most top passes in the entire NFL. I don't know, Miami. This is a godsend because Miami avoided playing Buffalo. They would have played if they would have won last week. And now they play Kansas City. I think they have a better chance of beating Kansas City. We go, man, even though they lost last week.
I'm going to Kansas City because they're playing cold. Miami's coming over to the cold. Miami lost last week. I watched Miami the last couple of weeks, and Tua does not look good. He throws in double coverage, got an interception. And it's pretty simple. 2 guys on defense. Find somebody who's by himself. Man coverage. That's pretty easy to do. I get mad when he don't take the takedown. But take what the defense gives you. So I'm gonna go with Kansas City because I think Pat Mahomes will them to win. He'll get all his players involved and take what the defense gives. And I just don't think Miami has a good enough team to beat Kansas City. Even if they in Miami, I might get the difference because of this one. weather was cold in the city, windy.
Yeah. Next game is Pittsburgh and Buffalo. We talked about Mike Tomlin maybe looking to find an exit out the door of Pittsburgh. I don't know why. I think he's just tired of everybody's trying to get rid of him. I think he thinks he's coming in from within the organization. But what he's done to get Pittsburgh in the playoffs is a feat in itself. This team should have made the playoffs this year. They made the playoffs. I don't think they have a chance. They're playing one of the hottest, or the hottest team in the NFL. The Buffalo Bills. I don't see them winning this game. I think Buffalo is on a storybook ride. They are my pick to come out of the AFC go to the Super Bowl. I'm taking them.
The thing that scares me is that Pittsburgh is playing their quarterback coming in not very good, but they run the ball. The running game, they go back to the 70s and 80s. They run the ball with a tight end, run the ball with a fullback. And I love to watch that kind of football. And the thing about it, it opened up the play. Rudolph, I think his name is Rudolph, quarterback. Open up the playoffs for you. Play action. I think if Pittsburgh can play with the lead, one thing I'm worried about is that the defensive end is a star player who maybe out with the knee. That's going to hurt the pass rush. But I think Pittsburgh can stay on the lead, but I'm going to take Buffalo. The only reason I'm apprehensive on the Buffalo is because Josh Allen is this turnover machine. Even last week, he fumbled twice for a couple of interceptions. He's too good to be doing that. Maybe because Brian Dable is not yelling at him. He's not doing a good job.
Yeah. And the next game is Green Bay Dallas. Green Bay is done. Dallas is another hot team. They're playing well. I got Dallas.
Big Dallas. I'm taking them because Green Bay got lucky. But they say that Love is playing better than he ever has. I have to do that against the Cowboys. I'm going to take the Cowboys reluctantly because I just know that Green Bay is not there yet.
This next game is a tough game: the LA Rams versus the Detroit Lions. I'm talking about Detroit is scaring me. I don't have a lot of faith in them. The Rams have played well. They actually came back and won, and they beat San Francisco last week. I mean, they are hot. Sean McVay has that team playing well. This is a scary match. This is an upset right for the making. I wonder what the spread is for this game because I don't think it's too big. I'm gonna go with Detroit again. I'm gonna hopefully win their first playoff game in years, probably 10 years. I'm gonna go with Detroit because
I would love to see Detroit. The problem is that Stafford got back to Detroit when he was the quarterback for 11 or 12 years. So, go back to where you have an extra incentive trying to put them down. So that's why I'm going to go with the Rams because of Stafford at quarterback. He's got two good receivers. One guy made rookie of the year, a receiver named Cooper Cup. He runs the best pattern anybody I've ever seen in the league. And that's why I think he helped Stafford out. So I'm going to go, even though it's a tough one because, California teams coming across the world, but they're playing indoors. So it makes it about even. I'm going with the Rams.
all right, now the last game, Philly and Tampa. Boy, oh boy, Philly loses this game. You talking about? They said they played a terrible game a terrible team in Philly last week. What do you think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? They aren't any better. You talking about Baker? You hate Baker. So they the spread should be about 21-25 in this game. But um, this will you know what I think if the Eagles lose this game, I think Sirianni they may have.
Well, not the reason they win. The defensive offensive coordinator, the Eagles have done a great job trying to put them in position to win. I was totally shocked the last 4 or 5 weeks. I think they lost 5 out of 6. They gave up the home field advantage in the postseason to the Dallas Cowboys. But they're not looking good on any part of the game. They led the league in sacks last year with 70. They only had 40 something this year. Pass rush, and they don't even seem like the same team. I don't think you can turn it on in the playoffs. Team good. I don't think the Eagles can turn it on in the playoffs because you show what they are. Bill Parcells. You are what you went through. 5 out of 6 seasons, and they still bring it up when it's time to do it. They got an opportunity now, but I just his finger being made it hurts. Finger being bad. I just think
Yeah, it's going to be a tough situation. You listen to the Philly fan, you listen to the prognosticators, you listen to all of the commentators around Philly. It's like a dumpster fire. You got the fans about ready to jump off the bridge because they don't even believe they can win this game. This could be like a no-brainer. If they, the best case scenarios happen is playing a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. If you had to pick a team in the NFC that you wanted to play, it would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is probably the worst team out of the group that you could have played out of Green Bay and the Rams. This is the team I would have wanted to play, Tampa Bay, and I'm glad I got it. They could have played Detroit. They could have played Dallas, and they got
they put the maybe 2011, 2007, when they went to the Super Bowl. They had 97 record. They got out again. This Tampa Bay got out again. They got out to the big deal. They keep that going. The Eagles lost 5 out of 6. I don't think they can get it going. So I'm gonna go with
okay. I'm going with the Eagles. I just don't see it having just this would be an epic collapse. And I think Sirianni also want to keep the jack. I don't know if not Matt Patricia will be back next year, but I think they want to keep their job. So I'm gonna go with Philly.
wild card weekend of the NFL. There are a lot of games excited. It's gonna be fun watching the Charles, and we're gonna talk about it next week. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for today. Back to the studio, helping me out. Well, Charles Wade, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Billy Taylor. Thanks for joining us. Have a good week.